Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to A Death of a Dark Crusade, Season 2. This particular scene takes place within the good old palace slash Elysium of Timurin. As the storyteller completely loses track of his intro. So, it has been a fairly busy set of nights of Timurin. All the chaos running around with the Seneschal being gone and tensions running high in the courts. Rumours abound of a new resident to be arriving to Timurin shortly. And Eirene and Ulric getting along better than ever. As for Ulric, he is out. He's had to tend to princely business. However, where is Eirene? Sorry.
Huh. God damn it.
I wonder where she is.
I wonder what time of night it is.
I mean, you're awake. I'll give you that one. You're waking up?
Okay, well then she is in whatever kind of room Ulrich has set up for her. Chambers, whatever, like basement. I don't know. Stables? No. No, she wakes up in her well, like I said, in whatever room Ulrich has provided her with.
No, that's easy. It's a closet beneath the stairs.
That's fine. Then she wakes up in a cupboard beneath the staircase. She suddenly has like a lightning scar on her forehead and wears glasses. This scene is now already going like in all kind of weird directions.
You're not for me. Get out of here.
look,
look at this person pretending to be a Tremere. Ulric, get in here. Teach this bitch a lesson. Now, your room is lovely. It's kind of like, you know those beds with kind of like curtains that go around them?
Yes.
Yeah, basically one of those.
Wow.
It's like the loveliest, kind of warmest, fluffiest blankets and pillows and cushions.
You make her never want to leave that bed. That's weird. No.
It's your favorite
She does
color.
not like. She does not like beds. They're for sleeping.
Yes.
So yeah, she wakes up, gets up, dresses, is probably gonna, well, I wouldn't say wander about the castle. She's probably gonna go to like she would have a scroll of something, or maybe even a book or anything, and is just gonna sit in a windowsill looking out over the gardens and is gonna read. She tries to keep up her reading and her learning and studying. Basically, every night that she doesn't like has to leave and has to go to Odessa for one reason or another. Mostly social, though. Tonight and the last few nights have been quiet, for her at least. Like, whatever courtly business is going on is probably going way over her head. So she.
I forgot. I didn't hear the last bit.
Oh, she said that I said that like most of the courtly business that's going on in Timurin are going way above her head, so she is blissfully unaware. So her nights are mostly filled, especially with Ulrich not being there, with reading, walking in the gardens, just doing stuff. If Ulric's ghoul would be there, or maybe some other ghoul who is kind of semi-capable with a sword or something, she would pick up a little bit of training from time to time, like an hour or something a night. So yeah, right now she's just sitting and reading.
It's fairly quiet in the castle today. In your great tower, there's not much distractions. There's not many distractions to keep you from your reading. Every now and again, you hear footsteps from outside the door, people moving on by.
I mean, that's great. Is it like moving by more often than usual?
Not really.
Okay.
It's fairly, maybe even a little bit less. You're not really keeping too much track.
No, I mean she doesn't. So yeah, maybe after like an hour, maybe an hour and a half of just studying whatever scroll she picked up, she's trying to get a little bit more insight in like political structure. But yeah, like I said, after a while studying, she'll place a scroll next to her bed. Will get up and yeah, she's gonna head into the direction of the gardens. Kind of like walking around the castle a bit. She doesn't necessarily take the fastest route to the gardens, as she does also enjoy to get to learn the ins and outs of the castle a bit better. Heads there in that direction.
Heading towards the gardens.
Yes.
Yes, it's the gardens are a lovely place, as you
Hmm.
well know. There's a small patio and I can't remember. It's like like a little circular structure with a small roof on it, a little dome roof you can sit under.
Hmm.
I can't remember what those are called, but
Gazebo,
gazebo.
I guess. I believe. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure, but yeah. I don't even know how to
Um,
pronounce it properly, but
uh, yeah, basically a gazebo.
that, yeah.
Not a modern one,
Oh.
but
Hmm.
um, yeah, you're able to rest under one of those. Um, yeah, a stone gazebo.
Nice.
It's quite chilly out tonight. It's a bit cold.
I mean, she's a Canaanite. She doesn't really care.
No, not really. I mean, it can't inflict pain upon you. At least it might still be a bit irritable.
Or perhaps. I mean, she's not planning to stay out like for extremely long time, but she enjoys the gardens a lot, and walking around at least provides her with a um, like yeah, something to do, and as well as you know, how do you say that? I forgot how to English. I don't know. I know what I want to say. I don't know how to say it in English, so just forget about it.
It's fine. As you kind of gaze out across the kind of small lake slash pond.
Looking up to like stars and shit.
Yeah. Would you like to make me a perception awareness roll?
Sure. I think I would know by now what my perception awareness is, but no, I think it's 5 dice.
And
It is 5 dice. My computer is so slow. Yes. On. Oh my god, I seriously need to do something with this computer thing. There's a 6, a 9, and a 1. So if it's based if, then there's 1 success.
okay. As you kind of look out across the lake, the far side of the river kind of suddenly goes absent of light, and this sort of absence of light kind of sweeps across the lake, consuming all light across it, leaving kind of an empty, dark, very dark blue, if not just straight black, kind of lightless pool of water for you to gaze into.
Yeah, she's curious enough. She will walk to the edge of the lake, the bank of the lake.
Yeah, roll me your perception occult.
Perception occult, which would probably also be 5 dice because fucking everything I have on my sheet is fucking 5 dice. Yeah.
Yeah, Irene is the most well-rounded character in the entire game. Unless it's melee.
Unless it's melee. I have 2 successes on the fate.
Yes, a dark omen of doom to sweep across the land in times to come.
She yeah, she does look a bit worried.
It is basically an omen of strife.
She really dislikes the fact that the water is so black, so she'll just kind of like tip her hands in it to cause ripples, just kind of shooing away the whatever this kind of omen is. And she is actually gonna look around to see if she can find anything or anyone. If anyone is seeing this as well as she is. I assume there isn't because.
Can you roll me strength?
Oh, okay. Sure. Let me. Can I add my potence to it or not?
Yeah. Whenever you roll strength, you always add your potence.
Thank you.
Always. I don't think there's any exception to that rule.
Yeah, no, I figured, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, here comes my great strength for potence. Well, there's a 9.
Roll a bunch of dice.
Oh shit.
Okay. Yeah, so you dip your hand into the lake. Obviously you're kind of in the shallows, because you're at the edge of the lake. You haven't walked in or anything. But as you kind of dip your hand in, you kind of swirl it to cause some ripples, and to try and make this unpleasant little visual display go away, or perhaps a lack of it, considering the lack of light. The removal of the visual display. You feel a hand violently grasp your own, and you are immediately pulled headfirst into the lake.
Fuck.
It is completely lightless in here, and you feel yourself just sinking and sinking as you are pulled down.
Okay, her first reaction is definitely to panic because she's not been a canine for that long.
Roll self-control.
Yeah.
Actually, no, roll courage.
Fine as well.
Roll courage, because you're panicking. It's not necessarily about anger inducing or restraint. It's about you're panicking, but you're not losing yourself.
Yeah. So it takes her actually like a full, I think, 10 seconds or something, when she's just struggling to get back up, before she realizes, wait, I don't need to breathe. This is not that much. It's still a problem, but it's not that much of a problem.
No, what's worrying is that as you get pulled down, you begin to feel more hands begin to grasp you. At first around your ankles, then others on your arms, then others grasp your waist, your shoulders, your neck, and one grabs you and basically muffles you as it grabs you, kind of, grabs your mouth, or wraps its hand around your mouth, around your jaw, and you are just violently pulled even further down.
This is not fun. She can't dominate because she's underwater, which would be her first thing to do. There's not a whole lot she can do here. And she did not hunt or use her. So, I mean, she will put a blood point in her strength and try to, pull free.
Okay, reroll strength. It's going to be a harder diff this time. It's going to be +2 diff because you're grabbed by many different things.
Oh, that's not a botch.
Yep, all this thing has to do is botch. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, as you begin to panic, it only makes it easier for it to drag you down. And its grip on you just begins to tighten and squeeze on you, and it becomes harder for you to move. And as you kind of enter the lightless depths, it becomes even, you slowly begin to feel the weight of the water pressure and the darkness upon you. And your muscles and your body begins to stiffen.
Is there anything either hard wisdom or occult or academics could tell me about what this could possibly be that is holding
this sensation is completely alien to you.
Ah, fuck.
As you begin to get dragged lower and lower down, it's almost you begin to not only feel the sort of stiffness and crushing weight on your body, you also feel it begin to affect you emotionally. You begin to feel empty and lifeless.
That's not good.
You feel yourself just beginning to cease movement, not because you're being pulled down, but because you just can't bring yourself to move anymore, and you just begin to stop. And you just kind of almost just perfectly still held in place by these many hands that you can't see. The only thing moving past you is the water itself.
Okay, can I put another blood point of strength? Because, goddammit. It. Then I will.
Okay.
And do you want me to make a willpower roll or something to actually be able to try and break free?
Make a willpower roll difficulty 8 first.
Wow, okay.
And then you'll have to make a strength roll difficulty 8.
Sure.
Okay, you can bring yourself to
willpower roll.
You can bring yourself to twitch.
Wow, that's failed still. Damn it.
Yeah, its grip on you does not loosen, and eventually you kind of almost feel yourself just being enveloped by these hands completely as they just begin to kind of cover every part of like your body. They just wrap around you. It's kind of hard to tell if they're even hands anymore. It's just kind of does, and it's just kind of almost like you're being swallowed or enwrapped.
Yeah. Irene's mind is basically kind of racing to think on how she can get out of this. But other than just, putting more blood into, like, making her muscles move, becoming stronger, doesn't really have another clue of how she can get out. Actually, remind me of something. I vaguely recall, and I don't even know if you did it or if someone else did it, but I vaguely recall someone giving Irene a dagger. Do you have
Yeah,
any recollection of
you're
this?
effectively grappled right now. You can't reach it.
Yeah, no, I figured. Well, that's the only thing going through her mind is like, okay, maybe try and get her dagger out, but yeah. She's pretty stuck there.
Hmm.
She's trying to see. I mean, yeah, she definitely has her eyes open, but this is also not something that she can.
You can feel the effects of obtenebration upon you, or you understand to be the effects of obtenebration sapping away your stamina and your physical reserves. But it feels different than your own or others that you have experienced. It's not. It's kind of slowly eating away at every aspect of your strength. It's not just kind of temporarily taking it away.
Damn it.
And eventually,
I mean, if she seriously has the feeling that, this is sapping away her strength, she will put, like, even though it brings her to only 2 blood points, she will put another one in strength.
okay.
Because at this point, basically, it doesn't matter if she frenzies or not, because, for fuck's sake, she's stuck here and she does not want to be stuck here. This is literally the only thing that she can do. So, do you want me to make a willpower roll again?
Make a willpower roll again.
Hey. Ah,
Ooh,
Christ.
no, you can't bring yourself to move. Irene gives up. She
Yep.
submits to the lifeless dark. Although she does begin to feel movement, but directed. Not by her. It's as if her body is being puppeted by these many hands stringing her along, just kind of carrying her by the waist, drifting along, almost as if she were detritus upon the waves.
Yeah, she kind of makes an excuse for herself, like, okay, I'm just gonna, save my reserves for when I can actually do something, but it's basically just her basically lying to herself. She does not have the energy to, like, put up a fight anymore. So, yeah, she just lets herself be pulled along.
As thoughts race through Irene's mind, and even your thoughts begin to slow down at this point. Like everything about you just begins to slow down and freeze up and go numb. Her, at this point, effectively lifeless body is splayed out and tipped downwards slightly.
How deep is this bloody lake? Jesus.
Within, she kind of sees, it's almost like fading images and sounds and muffling. It's kind of hard to make sense of. Would you like to make me a quick perception awareness roll?
Yep, will do.
Okay.
Ow.
That's a lot of successes.
Yeah.
So at first, the sounds that almost seem relevant to your own thoughts, muffled sounds of chittering and suffering and groaning and incoherent words, goading on Eirene to simply sleep, to simply stop, to simply rest.
If they literally say sleep, fuck no.
Defiance is met with an ever-pressing numbness within your head that actually seems to grow stronger and push you towards sleep.
Yeah, whatever it is, she's fighting it right now. Like any kind of willpower roll that you want me to make, any kind of roll that you want me to make.
You don't need to make willpower. It's rather, you feel very drowsy. You feel like you're on the edge of sleep, but you're not actually asleep. But you actually kind of feel your head bobbing in the water. You feel kind of your eyes kind of open and close. And yeah, able to remain awake for the moment. But you can, you're slowly losing control of even your senses, of everything regarding your surroundings. But the voices begin to slowly shift. The sounds begin to slowly shift. Again, almost like they're washed away, as if the sounds themselves are washed away and are slowly muffled. As if it were flooded and then encompassed by a thick mist. Or fog, rather. And flashes of insight begin to appear before you. You find yourself briefly washed up. Well, almost. You can see the coastline. You're kind of bobbing up and down across the coastline. Trying to swim, but the current's very strong. Whenever you seem to manage to get like some degree of stability within the waves, you just get pushed back into the water. You can see broken timber and cloth and metal from side to side as you're able to get brief moments of vision as you're kind of dragged back down into the water. You can't see anything beneath the water. It's just pitch black. It appears to be something of a shipwreck. Brief moments you see above a wave also as you look towards the coastline. You can see basically fire kind of lining the coastline in the distance. Kind of like if you were to see a town set on fire. It's like big, large spots, orange and red and smoke. You can actually see flames kind of lining the water and slowly dimming out, burning away at their fuel. You see several corpses, no one living, kind of drifting along this wreck. Others just slowly drowning and sinking. It's hard to make out, but you can see in these, due to the light of the fires and alongside the coastline, you can see what appear to be the outlines of bodies. And kind of like a horde of spots that kind of whiz through the air across these great fiery spots alongside the coastline, like a swarm of moths to a flame almost. But when they surround it, it just blots out the flame, and then there is no light. And they continue swarming around each red, orange spot of flame, swirling around them. Again, almost like some sort of this feral swarm-like instinctual motion, blotting them out in complete darkness just due to the sheer size, the numbers of these, almost as if it were a swarm of locusts being loosed upon you, just blotting out these lights, slowly making their way across line and out to sea, blotting out the light of the lighthouse, blotting out the flames alongside the ocean, the burning remnants of the wreck, and then enveloping you. The last thing you can see is what appears to be an outline that these swarming insects seem to take. Of which I shall acquire you the image.
Oh dear.
I will find you. Come on. Looks like that.
Huh. Joy.
This sort of vaguely humanoid, but also apparated form kind of lingers over you. The face has some humanoid details to it, some actual facial details to it. A fairly round yet chiseled face.
Anything that you would recognize?
No. The eyes you can bet you cannot even see on this face. You can see the kind of holes where the eye should be, but they're just kind of pools of black, as if no eyes are there at all. Almost as if the eyes had been torn out. They're just empty. The gaze of this figure is just kind of looming still, as if it were to not even register you at all. It just gazes upon you completely neutrally, with total ambivalence, with total superiority. And the kind of broken, apparated side of his body that are broken up into these shadowy ribbons begin to envelop you. Some begin to kind of reach into your mouth Others cut
Right.
deeply into your back and your arms and your shoulders, specifically within your joints. And this
I was
again.
just trying to get away from this.
So I know this thing will always beat you at a roll.
Yeah, I mean you can still botch.
It can't actually botch because of its specific abilities.
God fucking damn
Like it wouldn't actually you couldn't actually botch at this roll, and it could automatically succeed enough times to beat you.
Well, then let's not roll, but let's cinematically say that Eirene is trying to get the fuck away from whatever it is.
You are trying to tear yourself away from this thing. You actually try diving back underwater.
Mm-hmm.
That helps for a short time. But then you kind of feel yourself like it's almost as if your body stops moving in accordance with your wills and you start swimming back up to the surface. You can feel the tendrils that have dug deep into your joints begin puppeteering your bones and your muscles.
Okay, the thing that she's gonna do is really unwise and really risky.
Mm-hmm.
But she is gonna pump another blood point in strength, which really leaves her with like 2.
Roll self-control.
Yeah. Self-control. On lowest virtue. Wow, that's a botch.
You do entirely as this creature wishes.
Right.
You give in entirely to it. You allow it to take control of your body in not just physically, but in mind and soul. And you kind of feel its almost like a thick blackness wrap around your heart and your lungs. You can feel the kind of porous, this kind of the thick gas of the nocturne enter your body. Your eyes begin to turn to pools of darkness. Your body becomes even paler. You embrace the complete and total emptiness of your situation and your physical form.
I do not believe I have an image for that.
What you feel for this creature would not be love, but just simple subservience.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin to be fed again sounds and faint visions, kind of glimpses of sight within the darkness. You can finally see clearly. There's no longer any need to be afraid of the darkness or the ocean or anything here.
No, she's no longer resisting. She's just, yeah.
There is a full acceptance of
Taking it all in.
you understand that you are meant to be devoured and consumed. You understand that you're merely a fragment merely a fragment of a greater vessel, and that is this.
Hooray.
And it begins to pull you out of the water once you reach the surface. It kind of lifts you up as if you are kind of floating on your back. It opens up part of its body, which actually just turns out to be a mass of shadowy tendrils. And you're slowly begin to be pulled in. As you are pulled in, these visions amongst the darkness, of which you can only see this creature now. You can only see this creature and the glimpses it decides to bequeath to you. The sweeping darkness begins to make more sense to you. This land is its focal point. This land is where the darkness will proceed from and will seek to consume. It has already begun. Soon, not just this land, but your land will be consumed by the darkness. You can only nod and smile silently at this, in agreement to the conclusion. If there is any love you feel, it is probably for the darkness and nothing else. This creature is merely a vessel for such an entity, and as such there is simple subservience but no emotional compulsion towards it. You see the various aspects of how this darkness can proceed across the world in the form of death and war and disease. You can already feel these aspects sweeping across the land. They've already swept this clan clean of all life. You know that it is heading towards your home, your havens, your friends' havens, your lover's haven. And soon they will come to accept the same conclusion that you have. And they will learn to love the darkness as you do and become a part of it fully. But as you are almost consumed, something grabs you. Another hand, but one that you recognize. It comes out of the water. A hand unblemished yet burnt. A hand pumping black blood through black veins.
Oh dear.
A veiled face of a woman with deep red eyes.
God damn it.
As it demands you that you do not belong to this creature, that you belong to her. And they begin pulling on you. And they pull you apart. As your waist is separated from your legs.
I think Irene is screaming at this point.
Oh yeah, it's as painful as it sounds.
Yeah.
And you're dragged back into the water. You can feel the tendrils of this creature push back down into your body and begin puppeteering you to fight her. And you can see it actually fully dive into the darkness.
Oh my god.
To claim your other half. And the last thing you see is the might of these two creatures of unmitigated power and horror clash, cracking open the waves and the rest of you as you lose your sight and your body goes limp and dark again. And you fall into a state of torpor. And then you wake up. And you rest along the shoreline of the lake near the gazebo. You're wet and hungry. You feel the pain, the horrible pain of what you have just gone through, but you see no wounds. You feel no blood. You don't know how long you've been asleep here. But the moon has ticked by a little bit. Maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. You're not really sure.
Pretty sure it felt way longer. All right. Does she feel like she's in control of herself?
She's in control of herself and her emotions. She has, and she no longer feels any acceptance towards what she has just faced, the creatures that she has faced, or the darkness that it compelled her to serve, that it compelled her to even feel a tinge of love for. The concept of consumption and removal and anti-life, not even death, just removal.
Okay. Eirene will get up. She
You can. It's hard to stand. The pain makes it very hard to stand. Your waist is in crippling agony, and your joints, it feels as if they've been kind of cracked open. So
as fast as she can, which is probably not very fast at all.
Make a dex athletics roll, because all of your joints are basically crippled, so it's extremely painful to stand.
Yeah. Okay. Dex. Her dex. That athletics. That. Not half bad.
Okay, you're able to stand and walk. You're able to hobble.
Wow.
You end up kind of collapsing a couple of times, be able to pull yourself back up to your seat. Back up. Pull yourself back up by using the pillar of a nearby gazebo, and you're able to hobble off as if you were mauled.
Yeah. She'll head towards the inside of the castle.
You hear a lot of footsteps heading in your direction.
She is gonna turn around as fast as she can, kind of anxious about who or whatever is coming. As she kind of half expects something to crawl out of the water at this point. She's definitely, yeah, I mean, she's fucking scared.
Want to roll courage?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You're panicking, but you don't enter into a state of blind panic. You're just kind of panicking. You're kind of as you move, you're able to have some modicum of thought. Perhaps this panic is put at ease when you begin to see who rounds the corner. Ulric and 3 others. His two soldiers that you know quite well at this point. and one of the servants, the host, the head butler, as it were.
Yeah, I think the moment that she sees Ulric, she will just kind of drop to the ground. I'm happy that she doesn't really need to fight anymore now that he's here.
Okay. One moment. He kind of catches you halfway as you fall. Looks kind of stunned at this whole situation.
Yep, she'll grab onto him as well as she can.
It's painful.
Yeah.
It's so painful. Eirene, what are you doing? What has happened here?
I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, there's 3 humans in this room. Roll self-control, please. You're on 2 blood. You only get 2 dice to this roll.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't eat them.
Yeah, but it's like her main focus of attention right now. Her eyes kind of going towards the humans, and she licks her lips. She is, with whatever meager amount of strength she has left, she kind of clasps onto Ulric. Her eyes just kind of glance over, keep glancing back to those humans. She kind of feels water running into her mouth. For as far as that's possible for a canine, but at least that sensation is what she has. Whether it actually happens or not, whatever. I'm not an expert on vampire physiology. And yeah, her fangs extend. She swallows again. Please, I'm really hungry.
Just a moment. And then he'll point to the 2 soldiers. Actually, he'll point to the host. He'll say, you know what to do. And he will, the servant just bows and immediately leaves. Ulric will, carry you, which kind of hurts. Because no matter which way he carries you, all of your joints feel like they've been shattered.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, no, they haven't been shattered. They've just been, again, they've been cracked into. They've kind of been subtly cracked, but it's that you know, a cracked bone is extremely painful. So yeah, it's kind of hard for you to keep a straight face as he walks you down rather hurriedly.
Yeah,
towards
she
the
will try
master
to keep a
bedroom.
straight face though. But
You two dry her off.
she actually kind of bites her lips, and since she has her fangs extended, they kind of draw blood. It's like, I'm fine, please.
You lie.
Yeah. I can dry myself off. Really.
Roll me dex athletics. Because you need to
I
move
mean,
your
no,
limbs.
she's not even attempting to at this point.
She's just allowing it to happen. It's less painful. It's less painful.
Yeah.
You're kind of partially derobed because, of course, you're in some nice clothes and they're all soaking wet. So you're kind of basically you're quickly changed into a nightgown as you're dried off.
embarrassing.
How embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
I mean, you're able to keep your undergarments on, just not.
Thanks.
They're not that classless, but you are crippled and in pain and clearly sick.
Yeah, but to have soldiers clean you up, like what?
Then you need two guys here.
Any form of etiquette that she's familiar with.
Hey, they are both trained soldiers and servants. Ulric doesn't slack. These are all-rounders. They're just better at fighting.
Fair enough. I mean, she also kind of keeps looking at them, and like restraining herself.
You are lifted and tucked into the bed. Very gently. You see, like, there's that one moment where, you know, your joint just kind of, it is kind of jarringly moved once, and you kind of bite your lip, and Ulric looks like he's about to kill his servants. And he bites his lip in response. Just to contain that anger for a few minutes longer. And it only takes, during all this is happening, the servant returns with a large decanter, and you can tell it is full of blood.
Yeah, her eyes kind of snap towards that servant, and like mostly the thing that she's holding, like
He points, Ulric points to the servant holding the decanter. And he says, "Feed her." And one of the other servants, soldier servants, effectively, kind of helps get your head in position to actually receive the blood properly. And the decanter itself, blood is just kind of lightly poured into your mouth for you to consume.
I mean, however painful it is, she will take hold of that thing and she will drink as fast as she can.
About 4 or 5 blood points worth.
Good. And she will spend 2 into like at least stabilizing / healing herself a bit.
You're not injured, so you find when you go to spend blood to heal, you cannot actually burn the blood. The blood just goes, you know, round to those areas of the body to knit the wounds, but you find that they are not, there is no wound to knit, so the blood just ends up kind of cycling back around, back into your heart.
Ah, fuck.
You do find that it does begin to help. The blood does help, though. Like being less hungry, you find almost as if it doesn't hurt as much. It still aches, though, really badly.
Yeah.
But it's not crippling anymore. But you're able to move normally now.
She'll sit up a bit, like she's not in the mood to go to sleep. God damn it.
Or it just kind of says servants and goes, "Leave us." All of them get the fuck out of there. They both bow to you and the prince, and they leave. And you see Ulric kind of take a knee down, so he's kind of at a level, face level with you. My God, Eirene, what happened to you?
I don't know. Well, not really.
What did you do?
Well, I didn't do anything. Well, I went for a walk and I saw the lake and it changed. It became dark. There was nothing reflecting in the water anymore. And I touched the water and I got pulled in. And yeah, there were things happening. Felt more like a shore, not of a lake, but more like a seashore. There were waves. I was pulled in by so many arms. I couldn't stop. I tried to fight it. And it was like there was fire at the horizon. And then there were things in the air, black things, and they extinguished all the fire, all the lights. And it became this creature. And it grabbed me. It was like pure darkness that was grabbing me and grabbing into me. And as it did, I couldn't fight it anymore. I tried to, but I tried to give it everything I could to stop it, to fight it, but it won. And then, as it was about to, like, I don't know, devour me in a way, there was someone else. I think it was her. She came from the waters and she pulled me back. And they fought. And they pulled me apart. It hurt so much. And then I woke up.
He'll kind of cup your cheeks with his hands and press his forehead against yours. Oh, Irene.
Whatever that darkness is, it's coming. Please, you have to believe me.
I do.
I'm scared.
It's okay. I will not let either her or that thing take you. You will always be safe here.
It's coming here too.
I know.
You know?
It's just to get us.
What?
Can you tell me more about what you saw? I know that's a hard thing to ask for you right now.
Well, what do you want to know?
What did it want? What were you doing? What was it doing?
Looked like there was a war. There were bodies in the water. Everything's dead. It's like a shipwreck. I was just trying to get away from it. I wasn't doing anything. Is it my fault? I tried to. It reached into me. It took hold of me. Not just outside, but it reached into my body. I don't know what it wanted, but it was. I think it had a master of its own. It was part of the darkness. Sorry, I'm trying to remember more, but it's hard.
It's okay.
As I said, it was extinguishing all the flames, the shores, like a town on fire. And it then came closer and it came to me.
He will sit on the bed. Take a seat on the bed.
Yeah, she'll crawl closer to him.
I'm kind of wrap an arm around her. Say, try not to think too hard on this. It will only hurt you more if you do so.
What was it?
I guess as bad it is one of our own.
Is there anything going on? Is there a war?
There's like a genuine kind of hesitation.
Please.
There will be. Soon.
Why? What's happening?
There's like a kind of a wry smile that kind of cracks onto his face, almost like a little bit sarcastic. He looks humoured by something as he just says, the way you phrase it, it almost sounds as if you want to know what your birthday present's going to be.
Trust me, I'm not looking forward to a war.
The reason for war is simple. It's the same reasons that have always been power. It is just manifested in different ways. But people want more than what they already have, so they will fight for what they do not have.
I see.
People want domain, they want power, they want freedom, they want control, they want subjects. Some simply want to destroy.
Do you have to fight?
We may have to. Well, I may have to protect the domain I hold and the people that live within it.
I want to help.
He kind of shakes his head slowly.
Please.
You cannot fight what we fight.
We'll learn. Can't just go. Must be something I can do.
You haven't had the time. You haven't had the time. And that's okay.
Whoever it is that is coming here. If it wins, I won't have time anyway. Because I will either be his, or I'll be hers.
If it wins, there'll be nothing left to be at all.
So
But
let me
we
fight.
will be ready. You're already preparing. But you understand you cannot tell anyone else this.
Why not? Shouldn't everybody get a chance to prepare?
It would just be another excuse for war.
The war is coming anyway. They're coming anyway.
Adding more timber to a bonfire does not slow it down, it simply empowers it.
So, everybody we know, they won't have a chance. How are you going to stop them if nobody knows?
Both Canaanites and Kain share a common flaw that few overcome, in that they rarely care about anything until it personally affects them. As long as it is off in the distance, no one will care until it is here, but by then it will be too late, and we will have lost.
So, wouldn't it be important that people do know? How are you going to fight this then?
We are already preparing. The best way others can help is to do so. Ironically, from a point of ignorance.
What about her?
I have no doubt that both sides will exploit whatever tragedies and conflicts they inflict upon us to each other's end.
Would they
But
fight
that
each
we
other?
are aware of this simple fact allows us to combat it, but only on a personal and clan-wide level.
This is going to be a three-way war. Or would they join forces? Or would they battle each other?
This is why I said you shouldn't think too much about it.
How can I not think about it?
You only need 4 wheels for a wagon.
She looks very confused.
Think about how many people are involved in this.
I don't know.
You're assuming that what you have seen is the truth. You're assuming that it is the whole truth, or even that it is a fragment.
I have to with the information that I'm getting.
But your information is vastly incomplete.
Then tell me, please.
I don't have the full information.
And who does?
Who do you think?
I don't know.
Besides, you're bound, as am I, to secrecy on this topic. Because to reveal it publicly would do more to endanger us and the world than it would do to simply tell anyone. Imagine if you had told anyone but me what you had seen and what they would think of you. Spend a few nights tailing a Malkavian. and see what is made of their lives.
I have no want to tell a Malkavian, as you call it.
They are hated, bullied, ostracized, mocked, and killed. Because they are witness to things that people are not comfortable knowing about. And people value their comfort over their own security because they believe in a false version of it.
So, what do you wish for me to do? Get this happens. How can I?
Can you promise me that you'll keep this a secret regardless of the cost? That in all things you'll never reveal this information to any outside of myself and those within my circle?
She thinks about it. Regardless of the cost. How can I promise something regardless of the costs if I don't know what the prices I'm paying? I would.
This is what it is to be an older canine. She's free to say no, by the way. Do not feel compelled one way or the other. OC, do not feel compelled one way or the other. She's absolutely free to say no.
Yeah,
That's what the character would do.
I'm willing to keep this a secret. But there's only one reason why I would not. I will not, if I would have to choose between keeping this a secret or losing you, I would break. I don't think I would be able to do that. Other than that, I promise I will keep it a secret.
He will give you a light kiss for that. Oh, hey, look, a cookie. How much current willpower have you spent, by the way? Not this scene, but across the month.
It's literally the 2nd of December. I haven't spent any willpower yet.
Not any willpower at all.
You mean the past month?
Yeah.
God damn it, I don't think I have. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm sorry, I've not kept track of it. But you can, like, take 2 dots off. It won't be more than that.
Okay. Eirene.
Yes.
Uh, your memories, out of character, your memories have been rewritten.
Yeah, I figured as much. God damn it. Is there any way I can resist it?
It's not, it's a resisted roll, not a contested roll.
Fair enough.
And he got enough successes to rewrite massive portions of your life.
Yep.
Instead, he probes simply into the rest of this night. You remember most of the events up until the gazebo are simply normal. Then you do notice a strange lightness, an absence of light across the lake. This again remains consistent. You go to put your hand in. But you end up tripping and falling into the lake.
God damn it.
At which point you spend some time trying to get your bearings within the lake before dragging yourself out. At which point you also end up wounding yourself as you end up tripping into the lake. You bang your head pretty badly on a rock by the lake. You end up twisting your ankle, forcing you to expend your blood supply to heal it. But you remember not feeding that much from the prior night, and as such being quite hungry. You end up healing yourself and trying to find Ulric within the castle, and you find him within a corridor, in which case, at which point, he takes you to the master bedroom, has the servants dry you off, and feed you the blood from a decanter, which remains consistent. You do not have remember the rest of your vision, and you do not remember the conversation you've just had with Ulric. Instead, you recall talking about the lightlessness and the vague notion of sweeping doom that is to sweep across the land, although Ulric seems to insist that you're reading perhaps a bit too much into it. He does, however, state that he does trust your word, and will be keeping an eye out, particularly in regards to the sweeping plagues that have been hitting Africa and have been sweeping across Egypt and are now heading across Lebanon into Syria, as he suspects that may be what your vision meant, but he does not proclaim to know. After that, you kind of stopped thinking about it so much because the vision was so vague, you couldn't really make much sense of it. So you stopped thinking about it as much. And you began engaging Ulric in more casual conversation about the court's events. And having some more personal moments together. Which is where the memory kind of finishes with you kissing Ulric, seconds prior to your memory being rewritten.
Irene, I've had a far off look in her eyes. Then blinks and smiles. That was... I don't... I don't know what to say. Thank you. Pretty stupid. I do apologize for tripping like that. It's so silly.
He kind of lightly takes both your hands very gently. You're not being stupid.
I mean, I should watch where I place my feet.
Maybe.
I brought you so much trouble. I'm so sorry. I promise I will make it up to you.
It's okay. It's not as if anyone was watching. You're allowed to make mistakes.
I mean...
You're a very kind and forthright woman.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm allowed to make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that tripping and falling into a lake head first is one of those mistakes. I'm just glad that I found you.
It was the right thing to do.
It's kind of weird, my body still aches.
It's a nice place to be.
Why?
Like, well, who would build a garden to look ugly?
Yeah, that is true. I do love the gardens. But I'll keep away from the lake for now. Till I learn how to put one foot in front of the other. Without making a fool of myself.
It's fine to go swimming sometime. You just need to take more appropriate attire. Kind of kind of smirks at you.
How much time is there before? Daylight.
Many hours. You smell like you could use a bath.
I mean, I just took a bath. A rather cold one.
True.
But I do think it's a bit early to go into my, well, nightgown. And a bath just does sound nice. Would you accompany me?
I'd be delighted.
She'll get up from the bed, sit up, stretches a bit, makes a face as she rolls her shoulders. And she'll, get up and probably goes to find something not nightgowny to put on before, heading to the baths. Baths. Let's make it semi-proper English.
I mean, wearing like a small gown isn't totally unusual in this time period when you go have a bath.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets kind of soggy, but it's like better swimwear than most.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just like wear a cloth basically.
You want to end the scene there, or?
Yeah, Ulric will simply accompany her with an arm wrapped around her. And partway on their way to the baths. We'll simply stop her for a brief kiss and intimate moment.
Oh my.
You so romantic. Kiss this beautiful man, yes.
I mean, of course you will.
Omar Shadid approves. Omar Shadid approve romance. 10 out of 10. 5 stars. Anyway, I think that as they make their way on over to clean up, and I'm sure that's all they'll do, we can end the scene there. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you next time.